Lower mortgage rates are not coming. Is it time to move on? You're listening to the Home Sellers Advantage. I'm Aaron Zapata, your co-host.
And I'm Todd Anderson, your other co-host. We are the Bald Brothers team at Impact Realty Group with Real Broker, and we are here to give you the Home Sellers Advantage.
You can find us online at www.baldbrothers.tv. Again, that's baldbrothers.tv.
Or you can call us at 833-305-BALD. That's 833-305-2253 today.
Welcome back to the Home Sellers Advantage. I'm Aaron Zapata.
And I'm Todd Anderson.
And we are your host today, and we want to thank you for coming back for, I don't know if it's for punishment or for entertainment or just for the education, but we have a fun time recording this as we monitor the news and the events that affect you, the homeowner. And if you're a buyer listening in, so you know what we're talking to home sellers about, cool. You can call us too. We'd help you find a home. But we find, through this show, we're primarily focused in on events, articles, things in the marketplace that are affecting home sellers, because we as real estate agents want to give you a home seller's advantage.
Yep, and there is no shortage of things that affect the home seller at all times, but especially today in today's market, we get lots of questions from people who are considering selling, and one of the biggest things right now has to do with the interest rates. I mean, we those questions are from buyers, but also from sellers as well. And so there is actually a Wall Street Journal article that we will link in the show notes. So definitely, if you're listening to this, you'll want to try to get into the show notes and actually follow the articles. That has a lot more information than what we can cover in one sitting. But there's an article by the Wall Street Journal that says the dream of Fed rate cuts is slipping away, which means it was just a dream.
It was just a dream.
It's slipping away.
And I woke up and I realized the Fed rate cut is not coming.
It's just this balloon floating off into the atmosphere.
It is. It's such an interesting concept when you look at inflation and the attempt of our Federal Reserve Board to monitor and help with inflation rates. And I don't know who set the goal of 2% per year.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that's the goal. They want things to go up at a slow, manageable pace so that this year, if your special McDonald's burger costs $1, next year it costs $1.02. And the year after that, it costs $4.2, right? They're just looking at 2% per year
slow and
increase.
Steady and measurable and predictable.
Right? Because if it gets out of hand and it goes up too fast, then people can't afford anything. Like I went to, where did we go? A couple of us went to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
And Chick-fil-A used to be $35 for like 4 people, and now it's like $58.
Yeah.
And so you have to be careful.
Yeah. And of course, here in California, they raised the minimum wage for fast food workers, which also adds to it.
They did.
Yeah.
And I'm not picking on Chick-fil-A because everybody's doing it, right? My dad was going to, he had gone to Carl's Jr., and he ordered a drink, a burger, and a fries. And he was like $17.50 for a burger at Carl's Jr., right? I went to Del Taco today, 2 tacos, a fry, and a soda was $11.
Wow.
Right? This is not 1995 anymore when you could go to fast food and get a $5 meal. So all that to say, inflation is that number we're talking about.
Yeah.
You buy something, you're like, I can't believe how expensive it is. It's crazy.
Yeah. And so when inflation is up, interest rates remain high to discourage people from infusing too much money into the economy, to try to stem that rising tide of inflation.
Yep.
But of course, it's a difficult thing. Now, I think we should probably real quickly in a snapshot, and you probably would do the best job of explaining this, Aaron, of how the Fed rate cuts have a direct impact on the mortgage rates, because it's not a direct line, but there is a relationship.
There is a relationship, and it is definitely not a direct line. It is not a direct, hey, if the Fed lowers the rate tomorrow, then mortgage rates come down.
That's right.
It actually has nothing to do with the Fed rate, although it does. So
how's that for an answer?
Yeah, exactly. Definitely maybe. We're definitely maybe talking about this subject, and we're most definitely almost correct. So the mortgage rate affects private money through your credit cards, auto loans, anything that's lent on private things, not necessarily your mortgage, which is lent on real property.
Yeah.
It's called private property because you own it and you have privacy on it, but it's called real property, meaning it's affixed, it stays where it's at, and there's rights and things that are joined to it. So when the Fed rate raises, your credit card bills go up, your car payments go up, and inadvertently, that works its way through the system, and mortgage rates then follow. And like, hey, interest rates on the credit card just went to 24%. So, 7% mortgage rate doesn't sound so bad anymore. And so there's an indirect kind of a lag measure. And so the hope is that when Fed rates are dropped and they lower down and all those other things come down, that eventually the mortgage rates will as well. But Wall Street's in it for the money. You don't go to Wall Street and you say, how can I get poor? You go to Wall Street, how can I get rich?
Yeah.
And so people that have money lend money, and the more money the more interest they can charge, they will. And right now the going rate's 7%.
Yeah.
And if you have worse credit, it's more than that for a mortgage rate. So there's an indirect correlation. So I hope that answers your question, but it's definitely not directly. But they know that if they can curb inflation everywhere, then they can lower those rates.
Yeah.
So that's what they're hoping for. And housing market issues, construction, plumbing, insurance, title, real estate agents, mortgage companies, all of the things that are tied to a home sale do contribute a large part of the GDP product, which impacts the inflation.
Yeah.
And if you've looked lately, and I hope you have, home prices are not going down.
They are not.
And so as those go up, as cost of construction goes up, inflation is still happening, and it's happening very quickly and faster, and it's not under control like the Fed wants it.
Yeah, you just mentioned something that people oftentimes don't think about. When we think about the fact of interest rates and the scarcity of homes and the difference between how many buyers and sellers there are, but you mentioned something that oftentimes is lost is the cost of building. Those costs are going up as well. So new developments are affected as well.
I have some friends who bought a property in Tennessee about 5 years ago, wanting to retire there one day, and cost of construction for a home for them at that time was between $500,000 and $600,000. They just repriced it. Now 5 years later, it's $1 million.
Wow.
So, yeah, inflation is here, and it's here to stay.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of those snapshots in the textbooks for our children's children when they look back at the 2020s and they see what happened here. Look at this rapid rise in prices, and then it plateaued at some point. But wow, let's study that era.
Yep.
And we're talking about it. And our grandkids are going to say, how did you live through that, Grandpa? It seems so terrible.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, we just made day by day.
Somehow we're going to make it through.
Somehow.
But I have to say, I do not envy Jerome Powell's position. I would not want to have his job. But it is certainly something that is very much in the news these days, and it does affect the emotional state and the outlook of sellers and of course of buyers as well. Those two are intertwined and interrelated. So the question is, what do we do from here?
You give us a call at 833-305-BALD.
Teed it up for you.
Because Todd and I have no hair. And if you're on our YouTube channel, awesome. Like, subscribe, comment. We want to know you're there. And you can see that we have no hair.
We can't pull our hair out in exasperation.
We can't because we have not much there. And so you can call us at 833-305-2253. Or you can go over to our website at baldbrothers with an S.tv. .television. Baldbrothers.tv. You can get a link to all of our podcasts there. And you can also, we're thankful for Beacon Escrow and Crosswalk Mortgage. So if you're looking for some help and assistance in your transactions, wherever you are, if you're an agent listening to this, awesome. Give us a call.
Yeah.
And if you're a home seller, we've got it all.
We've got it all.
Right.
There we go.
Except for our hair. We have no hair.
We don't have hair.
Yeah. So Todd, you asked me about the mortgage rates.
Yeah.
And there's this idea and hope that mortgage rates are going to come down.
Mm-hmm.
As long as Wall Street is buying the mortgages, it's not coming down.
It's not coming down. Yeah.
The historical average has been between 6% and 8%. We're right at 7%. So this is normal.
We are right there in the historical average. And the thing is it's hard to wrap your mind around it if you only know real estate for the last few years. It's hard to imagine that this is normal but you go back far enough. I mean, this is actually very much in the average. So the question is, what do we do? It's time we opened up with, it's time to move on.
It's time to move on. And in fact, Todd and I work with sellers, and for the first time in a super long time, 3 of our listings are people that are not planning. Well, one has now decided.
One has now changed
California.
Their mind. Yeah,
but as it was a couple weeks ago,
that was not the initial plan. Yeah. 2
of our sellers are selling and staying in California, and they are doing exactly what this article that we're going to talk about. They're doing exactly what this article is talking about.
Yeah.
And so, if you own a home and you have a wonderful low interest rate, and you need to move, the time to move is now.
Yeah.
You can't stay there hoping that rates will come down and hoping that prices will come down, because those two are two diametrically opposed options. Todd, if interest rates come down, which way are home prices going?
Home prices are going to go through the roof.
Through the roof. Yeah.
And that normally is what happens, but especially in today's market, because a lot of buyers are still, and now buyers have come back to market, but there are buyers that are just waiting for those rates to drop.
Yeah.
And you're going to have just a bombardment of buyers in the market, and lack of inventory will drive those prices up. And so, and that's the bottom line is you can't wait forever. And what we're finding is, by the way, we're going to link to another Wall Street Journal article that's entitled, "These Home Sellers Are Done Waiting for the Fed to Lower Rates." Basically, they need time to move on. People are not able to wait forever for those rates to lower, even if they have refinanced their own home at a lower interest rate. Life events and circumstances dictate that it's time to move. And so we're starting to see some of those start to come back to market.
And I quote the article: "Sellers are listing homes." They're listening to their homes. Let me start over. Sellers are listing homes because they need to relocate, even if it means giving up a super low mortgage rate.
Yeah.
Empty nesters need to move to places without stairs and with walk-in showers. Growing families are spilling out of their starter homes. They need to upsize. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
We are now 2.5 years away from those low rates, and life happens. So this article points out that these homeowners, although they love their low rates, they just have to move on and are going to stomach the new higher rate just because they have to.
Yeah. And if you're listening to us, this might describe you. You might be in that situation or that circumstance where you've been kind of holding on, waiting to see what would happen, hoping that the interest rates would go lower, and then you can go ahead and pull the trigger on your move. And you may be questioning that. We encourage you to give us a call at 833-305-BALD. That's 833-305-2253. We'd love to talk to you about your specific circumstance and situation.
And if you are thinking about selling right now, you need to know that the market is a little bit slower than it has been in previous years when it comes to buyer demand, because listing inventory is up this year over previous years. In fact, according to Redfin, this article is very recent, so I'm just going to quote it as it is. It says, new listings over the last 4 weeks are up 11% from a year earlier, according to Redfin. Today's sellers typically say they're encountering a cooler market. They have been getting 3 offers per listings in recent months on average, down from 5 offers when mortgage rates were notably lower a few years ago. So we are saying that. We are saying that you're not getting 36 offers on a property. You're getting 6. Or you're not getting 12 offers. You're getting 4. We've seen that on some of our recent listings.
Mm-hmm.
And especially now as we go into May, as we launch into May, this is kind of where the prices have been set for the year. And we're going to continue to be at those prices now for the next 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So, in fact, we talked to a seller this morning. It's 4 properties to sell. What do we tell him?
Yeah, we gave him that we said from now until the end of summer, we're going to be kind of at the peak. And then towards the end of summer, we're going to start to see things come down. So he's actually still at a very, very good time.
Yeah.
For where we are in the season of the market.
That's right. And so if you're in that season of life where you're looking at selling, you might just need to bite the bullet and move on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we hear this question, but what if the market crashes?
Mm-hmm.
What if it does? And I came across an interesting clip. It was actually on the Dave Ramsey show yesterday.
Yeah.
And I saw it on Instagram. And so I thought I would play a clip from YouTube, and we're going to go ahead and link this into the article as well. But let's go ahead and play this audio clip. And to set up the interview, the caller, it's a gentleman from Denver. He's calling into the Dave Ramsey show. Actually, they changed the name. It's just the Ramsey show.
The Ramsey show.
Yeah, right. It's not just Dave. It's the Ramsey show. And because Dave is talking about, what does his exit plan looks like?
Mm-hmm.
What does his exit plan look like?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're bringing more people in. So Rachel Cruz, his daughter's on this one. And so this guy calls in, and you'll hear his worry and his scenario, and you're going to hear Dave's response.
We are worried about the house economy crashing here in the next 6 months or so. And our mortgage rate is at 2.5%.
Well, let me stop you. I'm sorry. Why are you worried about the housing economy in Denver, Colorado crashing?
Well, I don't know. I think I don't know. My wife she's more of a realist than I am, and so I'm just kind of going with the flow, and we're just trying to.
I'm sorry. What does being a realist mean? You mean a pessimist?
I guess so. I'm not trying to talk.
Hope she's not hearing this.
Oh, I wasn't either. I'm just saying there's a realist is someone who observes facts. There are no facts in the marketplace that indicated a housing crash in Denver, Colorado in the next 6 months. Absolutely zero facts.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So, and then also we're wanting to see if we should sell our house.
No.
So the clip goes on because he was proposing selling the house to rent.
Yeah.
Okay, selling the house to rent in this world that he has envisions of a housing crash coming.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, don't sell the house now and rent, because home prices are still going to go up over time.
Mm-hmm.
There's no crash coming is what Dave's predicting here. And so some people have said that to us. Hey, should I sell now and just rent back as a strategy to then buy again in 6 months when the housing crashes and it's all terrible?
Yeah.
And he's like, why would you want to rent? You're just going to throw money away.
Yeah.
Like, you own your house, you have a good mortgage payment, you have everything set up for you. And so, again, the whole reason behind the clip was, you don't want to be moved by fear.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in a situation where you need to move on, give us a call.
Mm-hmm. I can't think of any examples where reacting in fear has yielded a positive result. Now, you may react to real information. I like that distinction that he made. Being a realist is taking the data and the information at face value and responding according to that information. But fear, there's an emotional response that causes you to do things that might not be rational. And so it's very easy to be lost in fear and to do things that end up hurting yourself, as this example was going to play out.
Yeah. So I know you love your rate. Todd knows you love your rate, but it's time to kiss it goodbye. Goodbye, lovely rate. I love you.
Na, 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 na. Hey, hey.
Goodbye. So you need to if you need to move on and you've been thinking about that for a long time. This is literally your sign.
Mm-hmm.
This is, you've heard it here. Just give us a call. And, we'll talk you through the process. We're not your agent right now, unless you've signed a contract with us. So we're not giving you any legal advice, financial advice, or even real estate advice, but we're telling you what's happening in the market.
Mm-hmm.
You are not alone. There are others. Wall Street Journal's writing about it. CNN's writing about it. LA Times is writing about it. People are moving on with their lives.
Yeah. We
love the rates, but they can't hold you prison to a home that no longer works for you.
Mm-hmm. So
give us a call at 833-305-BALD. And if you don't like the letters, it's 2253. 833-305-2253. That is a toll-free number. It won't cost you a dime. And we have a call center, so don't be surprised if somebody else answers it, but it's available 24 hours a day, and you can call right now. And you can give them your name, your phone number. They'll ask you for an address, and we want to call you back and give you information about your market, about where prices are, and we'll walk you through the process of leaving California if you're moving out of state, or like our current sellers, if you're staying in state.
Mm-hmm.
Please stay.
Yep.
All right. Is that it, Tom?
I think that's it. That's
it for this show.
That's the topic du jour.
The
for
topic
today.
du jour. You have so many good words. Okay, if you don't know this about me, I was diagnosed with dyslexia in the 3rd grade. And so for me, big words are exciting because I don't use them and I hear them. And, language to me is better spoken than written because it makes sense to me when I hear it. But you have some great words.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just make them up.
Sometimes.
You have no idea.
Well, a new word is created like every 48 seconds and added to the dictionary.
Yeah.
So, but he started using this word accoutrements. Right?
Yeah, accoutrements. Yeah.
See, there you go. Yeah. So anyways, Todd, great word usage.
Thank you.
He really elevates the show here when it comes to our definitions. And so, again, if you'd like to reach out to us, go to baldbrothers.tv or call us on the phone at 833-305-2253. Hey, if you like to text, you can also text that number.
That's right.
You do not have to call. And if you want to know what your house is worth, on our YouTube channel, there is a QR code at the end of our desk right now during the video. You can scan that with your phone, and it'll take you to our home evaluation website, and we'd love to connect. Anything else, Tom?
That'll do it.
We're done. All right. Thank you for being here today. Like, subscribe, share, and we will be back next week. Thanks for being here. The Bald Brothers team is a licensed DBA of Real Broker, licensed by the California Department of Real Estate, number 02022-092. Again, we do not give any real estate, legal, or financial advice. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can call us at 833-305-BALD, or you can reach us online at baldbrothers.tv. Equal housing opportunity.